Okay.
Hi, and welcome everybody to another edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast. My name is Ross Benjamin. As always, on a Friday, I'm joined by Mr. Chip Chirimbus, who's in Las Vegas as we speak. As you can see, the AAA baseball stadium of the Las Vegas. Who are they affiliated with, Chip?
Well, they're affiliated with the Oakland A's, and they're at, I think they're the 51s or something. They used to be anyway, but yeah, I've seen that Olsen and all these guys. The A's are now shipping off to on contenders. We see them come through Las Vegas. Olsen has that big, beautiful swing, and he makes sort of Will Clarkish. He makes good contact. And now one of their best pitchers, who got beaten last year, got in the head, knocked unconscious. Bassett, I think he's going to the Mets. Is that right?
I think so.
And they're looking to deal some more, but. Yeah, it's a great park. It's a great Las Vegas is really taking it in hand, and almost every one of their minor league games and all the events they have here are sold out.
Yeah. Well, it's a hot commodity now, Football team, the Raiders, a little bit of exciting news yesterday.
Wow.
With Devontae Adams going to the Raiders.
How about that? But you know what? When you think about it, he only replaces Ruggs, who's not going to be playing for a long time after the incident here in Las Vegas.
You can't compare those two. I mean, Devontae Adams is polished,
but
he's
but Ruggs had such breakaway potential. I mean, he opens up the field, and
try winning Super Bowls with potential. You need guys who.
He's got to be on the field. He got hurt, and then he hurt somebody else, and he's paying the price right now.
Again, in my humble opinion, he's not in the same class as Devontae Adams, but. What do I know? Anyway, the college basketball NCAA tournament yesterday, wow, that's all I could say. St. Peter's, 21-point dog. They beat Kentucky.
How about the Peacocks?
Yeah, man, oh, man. Who else? Richmond over Iowa.
Yeah,
is a 10.5-point dog.
Connecticut gets beat. That wasn't
Connecticut gets beat by New Mexico State.
Yeah.
Michigan, I don't know how much of a surprise that was, even though they were in number 11 seed. You know what? The Mountain West, we gave them all kinds of accolades last week. 4 teams in the tournament, 0-4 in the
first round. What? Michigan was favored. I mean, I want to talk about that when we do my piece, and I think we had discussed it prior to.
Yeah.
And I think you had mentioned to me that you thought there was something up. You liked the Michigan side because they had the poorer record, a lower seed, and they were favored. Yeah. And I don't know if you used it or what you did with it.
I went the other way, Chip. I ended up going Colorado State. Yeah.
Yeah, so. I almost did too, because I knew they were betting the Wolverines, and I'm saying this is a false favorite type of thing where this team doesn't belong out there as a favorite in this situation. But I ended up passing on the game, so I didn't hurt myself in that regard. But it was very surprising, like you said. You pointed out to me right from the top about the matchup, and
I outsmarted myself. They had a 15-point lead in the first half.
Well, that was the other thing I'd spoken. During the game, we say, stuff happens. But you could take a quick glance, you see a score, and you go, boy, I passed up on that one. And here come the Rams, and the Rams are going to run away with it. And then all of a sudden, I saw the final. And I was taken back, and I asked my buddy. I said, he says, yeah, they came back and won it. I said, won it? They won by 13.
Yeah.
They were down by 15.
Exactly. 28-point turnaround.
Yeah.
So hey, give the Wolverines credit. They buckled down and they came on down the stretch. I think their ride is short-lived, but you think otherwise. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit.
Okay.
And tell the folks where they could find you, Chip.
Thank you, Ross. I'm at chipwins.com. That's where you get my exclusive A play, the single strongest play on the board each and every day. Chipwins.com. That's the only game I'm posting for you. Log on, file the buy links. I also have a number for you to reach out to me if you want a little more, information or more selections, because I'm only putting one out there on the site right now. I'm doing really well with it. It's my A play. So, Ross, I lost the overtime game again with San Francisco, and that drops my megabuck play in the last 7 weeks to 34-13. And I have to say, I'm really proud. Every time I've gotten beat, I've bounced back, with a little mini streak again. So I'm really happy with that. The tournament, so far 2-1 with the best bets, getting beat last night. excuse me, that makes me 2-2 because you have to count the early loss as well. So, but we're ready to go. You know, this is a great time for us, and
Oh yeah,
NCAA tournament is pretty exciting. Like I said, don't blink or turn your head. I mean, look what happened at the Michigan game. Things turn around real fast with these guys.
absolutely, absolutely. And you saw Gonzaga. They, you know, first
Yeah.
half they were only up 2 at the half.
Well, you know, Buddy said to me he thought that they struggled this game, and I said, well, they won by 19, 21.
21
You know,
they won by, but
won
they
by
were minus
21.
22 and a half.
I know, but you know, with 10 minutes to go, it was a 2-point game.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you know, I said, well, you know, maybe they were just walking their way through it, and not much regard or respect for their opponent. And then when the time came, you know, they put the pedal to the metal. But like I said, I've seen Gonzaga live. It's going to be interesting because I think the two best that I've seen were Arizona and Gonzaga. UCLA, of course, making a push. They surprisingly last night, they had a really close game, and I told you how I thought they would come back with a really strong effort after they got beat by Arizona. But you know, that's the kind of team they are right there. But by the way, they gave Cronin an extension. I think they just extended the coach by 6 years there.
Well,
So,
they should, because
yeah,
he's a
he's
hell
good.
of a coach, and the results speak volumes. Not only with UCLA getting him to the Final Four last year, but his time at Cincinnati, he showed he's one of the best coaches in the nation. And I love watching his father behind him. You know, he sits behind, and it's like he agonizes with every play, and he wants to get in there and coach. And it's just that the NCAA tournament's great for stuff like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, UCLA, Akron was winning the majority of that game. They were up 49-42 with about 5 minutes to play. And then UCLA finished the game on a 15-4 run. You know, Chip, I said it on TV the other day, and I'll say it again. Somewhere along the line, UCLA's run to the Final Four last year might be hard to duplicate, but that experience is going to pay dividends in close games, and we saw it yesterday, Chipper.
You know, like I said, I thought they were short on talent. They're great on hustle. They're great on playing as a team and being like gnats on defense, bothering, but they don't really shoot the ball all that well. And I knew yesterday laying 13.5, 14, I mean, it didn't matter. It wasn't even close, but they just didn't have the offensive potential to overcome it. And they had their little streak at the end, but you know, the score wasn't tied when they started the streak. They were down 10. So, you know, this next time out, we'll see what happens. I mean, it gets tougher each time out, doesn't it? Every game.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We've seen this before. We've seen this act before in the NCAA tournament. Teams like Gonzaga and UCLA get close calls. Gonzaga really wasn't a close call, but like Chipper alluded to, the game was a 2-point game with 10 minutes to go. And UCLA, I just touched upon that. I'm not saying both of those teams are going to bounce back and cover. That's not what I'm insinuating. What I am saying is don't get too caught up in what you just saw. And
Ross, go to your database. You'll tell me if they'll bounce back or not.
Yeah, I will. Unfortunately, I have a top play in the UCLA St. Mary's game tomorrow. So fortunately. Unfortunately, I can't discuss it with you on air. I'd be more than happy after we get done with our broadcast to do that. Chipper, it's the 18th right now, but the 19th, we got the round of 32, or that part of the round of 32 all set. 8 games on tap tomorrow. What do you got as a free play?
Well, we survived the Ides of March. We survived St. Patrick's Day, a slight hanger, not too much hangover, but not all that much. I got a game that we were just discussing, and Michigan's playing Tennessee. Now, Tennessee wins the SEC, first time since 1979, Ross, and a 3 seed. They won some big games. They're certainly capable. And this number 11 seed Michigan, I mean, what kind of season we've seen with them, Ross? We've seen them be so inconsistent, lose their head coach for 5 games. There's turmoil and drama going around them. And they come out and they win that game against Colorado State, trailing by 13 or 15 or, 28 point swing. We talk about, but they're only 18-14 on the season. And there may be something really, we used the term hooly about this team. And, who knows what's going to happen. I mean, they had a big come from behind win against Colorado State, but Ross, they lost 8 games outright as favorites this season. So, what are we going to expect from them? I think with Tennessee being 27-7 straight up, Rick Barnes has done a great job with them, and he always gets these teams in this position in the NCAA. But Ross, Rick Barnes is 7-22 in the NCAA with the teams he brings in. So, I think there's something funky about this Michigan team. Maybe they've come together and having a surge to win the game the way they did last time. Maybe they woke up and they have some priorities. Much more was expected of them early in the year than what we've got out of them. They were like one of the favorites, Ross. I was just checking today on to win it all. I mean, and there's still, the odds are still rather low. I mean, you're not going to get much money back on them than a 11 seed and 18 and 14 team. You expect them to be around 40%, 40 to 1, something like that. And they're around 15 to 20. So, they've got respect early in the year with the money. Maybe they're going to show what everyone expected of them now. I'm going to take a shot. Tennessee had a great game against Longwood. I'm going to take the points with the Wolverines, at least keep it close. And I wouldn't be surprised, Ross. I think they have a shot here because it's so funky, because it would be so unexpected, and it would be a great storyline for the NCAA. They can run over Michigan. They can bring out the Fab Five if they want. But anyway, I don't know. They may get blown out by 30 because they stunk all year. But they
didn't really stink all year. They were just so inconsistent and erratic.
Did you think they belonged in the tournament? I didn't even think they
no,
belonged in the tournament.
Not only did they get in, they got a first round bye. They weren't even one of the last 4 invited in.
Yeah, well, this is the funky stuff that happens in a tournament with teams that don't belong there. All of a sudden, we see them in the quarters and the semi. So
yeah,
I'm going to take a shot with Michigan. I don't know. Maybe if you loan me some money, I'd put some money on it. But
well, let me say this. A couple points. Rick Barnes has been known to be, his teams, I should say, that he coaches, have been known as regular season Lions,
right,
and postseason Kittens. So your point well taken. On the other hand, Tennessee enters this game 8-0 straight up in their last 8, 13-1 straight up in their last 14. In Michigan, 0-5 straight up in ATS following a loss in their last 5. So, but that doesn't mean a thing, right, Chip?
They got to play it. They got to play the game.
You got to play it, and you look at the number and you decide from there. And that 6-point number seems maybe a little bit high in that situation, I guess. So let's.
But with Michigan being an 11 seed, and they've lost 14 games. I mean,
usually an 11 seed in the second round is close to a double digit.
It's I didn't really interpret this selection by reading the line as I usually do for the most part. We use a lot of different rationale, but it was because of the way it sets up and the way Michigan, it looks like there's such a go against here. Yeah. So that's why I took it.
Yeah, absolutely. I understand your logic. And again, folks, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please take a second to do so. It doesn't cost you anything at best yet. The last 20 videos, 28 and 13. That's 28 and 13 against the spread. We're not picking straight up here. So anyway, we thank all of you who have subscribed, who have been chiming in with your feedback, a lot of nice comments from people. So it's deeply appreciated, folks. Don't forget to give us a like at the end of every video. And if you have not subscribed, take a second to do so. There's no strings attached. And we're winning. All right. What do I have, Chip? I got
a winner.
St. Peter's and Murray State. The total in this game, 129.5. I'm going to use our logic here, Chip.
Okay.
Both teams coming off high-scoring games yesterday. Both teams coming off overtime games. Murray State wins 92-87 over San Francisco, which was my free pick on our video. Unfortunately, I lost that one. Chipper had San Francisco as well, much to our chagrin. And St. Peter's, how about St. Peter's? 85-79 in overtime against Kentucky. Now, you would never know it by these final scores, but these teams are very good defensively. And also, you look at the final scores yesterday, granted, the games went overtime, okay? But they were still in the high 140s at the end of regulation, and this totals just 129.5. Why? Well, when you look at KenPom, Murray State right now is the number 41 team in the country in defensive efficiency, allowing just 95.4 points per 100 possessions by their opponents. St. Peter's, on the other hand, number 31, as they're allowing just 94.1 points per 100 defensive possessions. So there's 357 teams in Division I basketball. That equates to some pretty good numbers.
Yeah.
Neither one of these teams normally likes to play real fast, especially St. Peter's. As a matter of fact, St. Peter's 18.5 seconds per offensive possessions. That's number 284 in the country. Again, there's only 357 teams.
Mhm.
Murray State, 17.8 seconds per possession, and that's number 221. So, you got two teams that are good defensively, and they don't like the quick tempo. I'm going to go under the total here, Chip. A lot of people I know are going to get sucked in by the high scores yesterday. I'm not one of them. I'm going, and I'm not afraid to go under a low number like this if it makes sense. St. Peter's, Murray State under 129.5.
When you brought up the game and you mentioned the number, that was my first thought. I said, that looks, awful inviting. It looks like a very low number. And after the games they had yesterday, I can understand the impulse would be to play over.
Oh yeah, they're begging you to play, and plus they're begging you to play the over with this number, right?
Yeah,
Chip?
yeah. I think you got something working here.
Yeah. So Chip Chirimbus, he likes Michigan plus the 6 over Tennessee. Myself, I'm going St. Peter's and Murray State to go under the total of 129.5. We've been doing very well on these videos, folks. Don't hesitate to jump in. But, these are free picks, our best picks you could find. Chip just mentioned it, chipwins.com, theaplay.com. He's been absolutely on fire with his mega bucks plays, especially in college basketball and the NBA. Chip, tell him what your record is in that regard again.
Well, in the NBA right now, I'm 15-4 at the last 19. And I've gone to where I'm just told with all this college action going on, I've made it very simple in the NBA for the most part. I've been posting one game a day. And, that's how I originally started as the A play. And it's working out, keeping my head is clear. The games seem to be popping up right in front of me. And the best thing about it, Ross, is you run 3-4 and then you get beaten, you come right back winning again. And, you always dread after that long away with that winning streak, all of a sudden things turning dramatically. But I've been able to bounce back and recover each time.
Yes, it's called resiliency. And that's why he's lasted this long in this business. You don't last as long as Chip Chirimbus has without having success and consistent success. And longevity in this business, it speaks volumes, folks.
Thank you, Ross.
I've been around for about half as long, which is 50 years compared to Chip. No, about 20 years. So you could find me at rbwins.com. That's rbwins.com. I just been rolling along consistent, Chip, grinding them down. Not a huge winning percentage, but not bad. I mean, college basketball, 49-38 with my last 87. $1,000 players are up $7,000. $100 players are up 700 during that course of time. College basketball, 10-star top place. I cashed with Vermont last night. +5. They lose by 4. They get inside the number. 98-72 since February 27th of 2018. That's over 4 years, folks, with a pretty big sample size and a 57% win percentage. You figure it out, do the math. That'll make you a lot of money. I got a 10-star top play going on Friday, in the Colgate, Wisconsin game. I'll have another 10-star top play tomorrow, St. Mary's and UCLA, rbwins.com. That's rbwins.com. Jump in, folks. We're both making a lot of money over the last couple months, and this is our time of year, as Chip alluded to. Until the next time, for Chip Chirimbus and Ross Benjamin, we like to wish you all the very best this coming weekend. Good luck and God bless, folks.